A win there against Elazer. MarineLorD, of course, with an impressive group stage performance. Here he is. All right, let's give the introductions, guys. On the left-hand side, in the blue, hailing from France, it's MarineLorD.
And playing for O Gaming. Raise your baguettes.
Oh, yeah. And up here in the top right-hand side, hailing from Poland in the red, he is Elazer.
So the one game that Elazer lost against Elazer was Mech in game number 1, but later on he looked much better against it. So I really wonder whether MarineLorD will try something like that. Like we talked about, his potential for going for stuff like proxies and everything. I feel like it really will depend on his level of confidence in a regular game, because a lot of the time he's going to be the guy that uses very specific builds depending on maps. It feels like he has maybe 2-3 builds per map, and then he tries and rotate them in depending on which he thinks is going to have the most chance of success depending on his opponent, which in this case is a pretty solid Zerg, Elazer. Like once upon a time, I guess we kind of attributed the aggressive tag to him a lot of the time. Didn't necessarily like that much to go into the longer games, the very macro games orientated with Hive and everything, but nowadays it feels like he can do it all.
The timing king, as some of the players have dubbed him. He's very, very tight. He hits really fierce timing attacks, and he just is so crisp with his early build-up and play. He's going to go and take that forward third base is Elazer. Very unusual to see a Zerg player opting for that, but it does give you a big head start on your creep spread towards the center of the map. So this actually does give you a much easier fourth to take on the backside of that.
I hope we're going to see some mech. Mech equals roaches, and roaches equals a good time with pig growling, so might as well.
Hey, I like it when the Zerg goes for some meteor units and we get a bit of that action back and forth. Nothing lights the fire in my passion like seeing a lot of Hellion harassment, Blue Flame, and all the rest. Hopefully we do get some of that. MarineLorD actually one of the original best users of the Hyperflight Rotor's Banshees, in fact, as well. He's a player who's really good at harassing with those in the late game, so we'll see where this series goes. MarineLorD has a lot of options available to him. Starport is finishing up, and it's going to be probably swapping onto that tech lab. No fusion core down just yet. We've still got our eyes open.
The Reaper has done a pretty good job so far, kind of delaying the creep tumors from going further, but now with those 2 queens here in position, it's going to be harder and harder. That's why those Hellions are here as well. We can see Elazer actually delaying the creep tumors here. Okay, he's going to go one way with one, and at the bottom with the other. And he really covered that very well. MarineLorD thinking about kind of diving a little bit here, but he can't, because otherwise he would lose those very important units.
Yeah, good harassment though from MarineLorD. Does get a drone, forces a Spore Crawler to go down there, and just very good Reaper Hellion harassment out of MarineLorD, continuing to just pick away at these queens, and does pull back there. That Reaper, of course, going to be able to heal itself up. And, ooh, does see that there's an upgrade going on the Starport. The Zergling verifying that information. MarineLorD doing a good job of keeping Elazer in check. His creep spread starting to come out. Baneling Nest is on the way. Spores going down across all 3 bases. And that queen count beginning to grow for the red Zerg player. And third CC goes down there for MarineLorD.
In the wall, yeah. This is very 4GG-esque, like going for Hellions like this, the Banshee as well.
Very
and trying to apply a lot of pressure. Ooh, he almost went for the dive here.
Nothing too crazy though. Ooh, good queen snipe. No transfuse energy there ready for Elazer. He's been so focused on his creep spread, he has not been saving up for that. And double armory goes down behind it. You've got your wish, Todd. We are going to be seeing a mech follow-up from MarineLorD. This Viking is going to be roaming around, cleaning up some of these overlords.
There was no overlord on the other side of the map, by the way. This Viking has killed nothing so far. Elazer was like, you know what? I don't even want to lose a single overlord here. I'm just going to keep them back at home, cover them, make sure I don't lose any.
When your opponent, goes for that every game, it's such a cute little adjustment. You can tell the players must know each other really well.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're going to have Banshees on the way. The first one is actually staying back at home right now, as MarineLorD's about to get a second one. Maybe he's worried about some sort of counter-attack. I mean, he wouldn't have anything back at home if he didn't keep the Banshee there.
Yeah. The Viking does manage to take out, a bit of damage, pushing the Overlord vision back. 2 more factories on the way. The Hellions and the Reapers aren't going to poke around here. Continuing to, you know, just do a good job of keeping these units alive. Not really causing any direct damage. I mean, Elazer, it's only 6 minutes. He's already got 67 drones.
Yeah, but not having anything across the map in the Overlord that I talked about, how is Elazer supposed to realize that he's facing mech then? Because there's not going to be an Overseer to fly in there. Does he just assume it is? But then, where's the Roach Warren? He's going straight for a Hydralisk then.
And you can play a Hydra Bane against this, but you'd want those range attack upgrades. You don't want to be going Carapace, so I'm with you there, Todd. I don't think he knows about this just yet. There's no doubt going to be scouting for it in the near future.
He has a lair already.
Ooh, Hyperflight Rotors, yes! Oh man, I was saying it, MarineLorD is just so good with those Banshees. He is one of the most patient players. He'll keep them alive for a long time and just continue to find damage. He's got that mag field accelerator upgrade, Cyclones on the way. It's going to be some truly mobile battle mech. Banshees, Hellions, Cyclones running in from all sides. I think we're going to see a very tempo-oriented game here from MarineLorD.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that if it comes down to taking a third, fourth, kind of splitting the map in half and taking it to the longest stages of the game, he's not going to shy away from that. We've seen that in the past, and he's very good at it as well. Hellions doing a pretty good job removing a lot of these crypt tumors there. And still no scout inside of the main base of his opponent here from Elazer, but the fact that he's seen 2 Banshees and there's been no amount of Marines and Medivacs really attacking him anywhere, I think he must be realizing right now it's happening, and for now he's just going to be adding on some Hydralisks as those Banshees keep up with the harassment here in the main base.
Ooh, gonna snipe down one of those Queens. A little bit slow to pull theirs back to safety. And Elazer gonna lose a few workers as well as a Queen. This is the harassment, which is so difficult to deal with. The Hellions actually gonna find a few Queens out in the open at the same time. Those Queens, no match for that number of Hellions. The spawning pool even goes down. Elazer has such an impressive economy. I was about to say I'm worried that he is going to get out of control and just have too much stuff. But MarineLorD getting in there, finding some nice damage, and just pulling Elazer left, right, and center. 4 Banshees still just being so annoying. The Hellions pushing back the creep spread. MarineLorD controlling the pace of this game.
Yeah, he's going to rejoin those Hellions with Cyclones. The Banshees, those numbers are still building up. He's got a 4 out on the map right now. A 5th one is going to regen that. And he's already queued a 6th Banshee here. So he's not going to stop making those.
Non-stop, I love it.
And mass Cyclones production out of MarineLorD, who's getting Drilling Claws as well. Blue Flame now, he's just getting everything at once, except tanks so far.
Yeah, just very mobile focus there. 4th Command Center on location. Of course, this is a less efficient composition as the game goes on, the Cyclones.
He's ahead in supply.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. It is somewhat inflated with the Cyclone Hellion, but he can use this and leverage it now to just mass expand across the map, and you can drown your opponent with your mobility, your harassment. I think he sent his Banshees home to repair, which is a fantastic move to see that. Yeah, it only costs you 25% of the original unit's cost to get that back to full hit points, a worthwhile investment.
And he's pushing back the creep here in the center, very far back towards that center base from Elazer, which would make a siege there so much simpler. He could even like put tanks on the left-hand side of that gold mine, or even on the low ground, if he started making tanks soon, which so far it seems like MarineLorD has no interest in that. It's only been Cyclones and now Widow Mines being added on.
Ooh, Elazer is going to go for what we see Serral using against this composition a lot lately. Swarm Host Nidus, an Infestation Pit, and a Nidus Worm on the way. Now, obviously, he can just pop out Hydra Bane for now. Isn't necessarily going to be Swarm Host, but he's got his scouts already getting in position, and he's going to start kind of popping his units out on his opponent's side of the map, looking at the economy, the production of MarineLorD.
Yeah, micromanaging really well here. Killing some of these Hydralisks from afar. Needs to be careful here with those Banshees because Elazer's fully ready with an additional Spore and Hydralisks in the main base.
Nice mine shot there. Mine's always a very good unit to just kind of mix in to add a bit of complexity to your army, make it hard for your opponent to deal with your composition. Right now, Elazer is pinned in on 4 bases, unable to secure a 5th, and he's taking rather bad trades in the long term. But this Nidus Worm is suddenly going to give Elazer a chance to pop in. He's going to unload the army outside the 3rd base. At the same time, Nidus Worm in the back of the main. If that gets up, MarineLorD's production could be in big trouble.
Yeah, he's trying to use the mobility here of his army against the rather immobile MarineLorD army with the Cyclones and Hellions.
Not that many Hellions there, so even though these Hydras are in the open, they're in trouble. The Banshee's getting intercepted by a massive Hydras on the other side of the map. At the same time, a lot of those valuable Cyclones do go down. The Nidus Worm in the main did get cleaned up though, so MarineLorD, good crisis management, all things considered. Another one trying to pop up there. He's got to leave a Cyclone in that main base. He is going to clean this up for now, but Elazer's bought himself a lot of time, a lot of space. And oh no, that Nidus Worm doesn't have anything in it. But there we go, the lock-ons will get rid of that.
It was a decoy, he's attacking at the front where MarineLorD's not ready for this army here. If he can kill this before this planetary fortress, that would be a big win here for Elazer, who's trading against this army right now. MarineLorD trying to jump on top of this Hydralisk. The command center so far is surviving, but he needs to repair it more.
This is a messy engagement for MarineLorD, but the tail end of it looks good. Once the Banelings are gone and the Hydra count is small, Elazer takes a very, very rough tail end of that fight. Every single Hydralisk got burnt down on the retreat, but he's doing the economic damage. MarineLorD keeps on having to cancel these command centers. He wants to be growing bigger than the Zerg at this point, but it's not happening. The Nidus Worms, the Hydras coming in, the fact that the Cyclones and Hellions are being forced to commit to these battles because there is just too much going on all over the map, and every time these Cyclones commit, every time they get flanked, they disappear.
Yeah, and MarineLorD says, you've been attacking, you've been losing a lot. Perhaps a lot of your units are going to be loaded up into Niduses. Maybe I can do some damage across the map. Moves there with the Cyclones. A lot of those die. Now he's having a harder time replenishing against the Zerg that's injecting on every single hatchery. A big supply gap now in Elazer's favor at this point.
Yeah, Elazer has just killed too many Cyclones at this point. Finally, +2 armor and +2 weapons about to finish. That Widowbind continuing to block the 5th phase attempts from Elazer. But Elazer, he's just starting to take out so many of these expensive Terran units. The Cyclones desperately trying to hang on. So many times these Hydras coming in insane numbers. There's just not quite enough Hellions to get on top of them. And every time those Cyclones get focus fired, we see just how fragile a composition this is.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Elazer once again in the bottom right with the Nidus. That's what he's been doing the whole time. Nidus on the main base, Nidus on the 3rd base, and attacking on the 4th with the rest of his units.
Yeah, very nice play here by Elazer. The Overseer does go down there, but he's just drowned MarineLorD. Utilizing those Nidus Worms fantastically. That's a game 1 lead there for Elazer. Nicely played. I really feel like MarineLorD had everything set up well. He was in a good position. He had Elazer under control. But those Nidus Worms just pulling him out of position. His army, you know, he lost all of his Banshees committing to the counterattack while he was dealing with the Nidus. He tried to counterattack across the map with the Cyclones. They all got surrounded by the Hydras and the Zerglings. You want to drag it out as MarineLorD. You don't want to be forced into a rough engagement like that.
Elazer cracking a smile here. He looked very pleased with himself, as he should be. He wasn't necessarily in the best of spots, but salvaged that position very nicely with those Niduses. And MarineLorD from there might have to mix things up differently. It's very hard to split perfectly because you don't know, you know, how much is going to come out from which side, from those Niduses and everything. I feel like the counterattack was maybe a little bit overeager from MarineLorD because after he lost that, it was just always going to be so hard to replenish. And also, he was going to go for the center base at some point. Like, he was just so confident he was doing well enough to take that. Instead of just trying to secure a bigger army first. Not
even taking it on the side where you clear the rocks, but actually wanting to get the gases as well. And that's where that style gets out of control. It was a dangerous point for Elazer, where if MarineLorD was able to shut down those Niduses a little bit better, he would have been able to control everything, shut it down, and just slowly drown out his opponent with the numbers. But Elazer got in there, took out a lot of workers, and more importantly, just took multiple engagements against the battle mech on his terms. That army, the Cyclones, the Hellions, it wants to lock on, throw a volley or two, pull back, and stay out of range of your units. When you try to turn and disengage, that's when they'll turn around and start to chase you down. But it's very much a hit-and-run squad-style army. You can't take a pitched battle.
And I feel like against this kind of composition, it's very hard to deal with this, obviously, because if you want to kite, you need to be looking in one place. You can't be kiting in 2 places at once. This is an Archon mode, so from Elazer to do what he did and attack in 2, 3 places at once, that's what made it really difficult for MarineLorD to trade very effectively, especially without tanks.
Yeah, the tanks, it's so funny as well, because I feel like MarineLorD's the guy who would probably almost never go siege tanks, right? He's like, No, no, no. I just take 6 bases and just start doing bigger Banshee run-bys, bigger Hellion run-bys, maybe splitting off 3 or 4 Cyclones to lock onto a hatchery. Especially on that map, I do think there's so much power, though, when you do get the tanks, especially with the creep clearing. You were talking about how if siege tanks ever came through the middle, the creep just wasn't there. You get like 4 or 5 siege tanks mixed in with that army, you can set up some fantastic positions, and especially for taking down Hydra Speedbane, siege tanks are an awesome unit for dealing with that.
In retrospect, do you think it was the right call to maybe skip Roaches and go for Hydralisks instead against this, or you think it didn't matter that much?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I feel like it was an okay call. I think it's very stylistic, you know. You'll see Cyril, he loves the Roach Ravager with the Baneling and try to get up that composition a bit quicker. The Hydras give you a bit more longevity, you know, they last longer in the game, but it's definitely a little bit more fragile as you're getting up into that number. We saw that he wasn't able to go out and engage, and he lost a lot of map control and creep spread because he was going for that better composition. So I think both sides, valid ways to play against it. This Terran player, though, he's a man of many tricks. He's got a lot of builds up his sleeve. We're going to see what happens in this next game, launching into Cyber Forest. And we are going to be introducing this player in the bottom right, in the blue, representing O Gaming, the Terran. He is MarineLorD. And up here in the top left-hand side, in the red, the Polish player. He looked fantastic in game number 1. He is Elazer.
MarineLorD here on Cyber Forest, starting to work on his wall off pretty early.
On the low ground as well.
Yeah.
And Elazer, is he going 3 hours before Paul? What is...
He's just a scout for proxies.
Okay.
He's facing a repeat offender.
Yeah, yeah.
In the past, who's gone for a lot of these.
Quite a greedy opening there to get the drone out. He built his spawning pool and his gas 1 supply higher there, making sure he could afford to have that drone scouting without sacrificing any minerals. Elazer had 16 workers on minerals that entire time, and just fantastic economy management there. I love the wall off on the low ground from MarineLorD. I think this gives you a lot of freedom in your build. Yeah. And not just that, if the Overlord sits on this little cliff, you can actually just lift your barracks for a second, spot the high ground, and your Marines will be able to shoot it down. So this negates that vision, which is normally such a frustration for Terran players.
Even though last game, with minimal scouting, it just seemed like Elazer knew exactly what was coming and wasn't really worried about much. Maybe down the line, that's something that MarineLorD could use to his advantage, you know, if he was to try and go for a surprise timing with units that he would actually make inside of his base, where Elazer seemingly has very limited scouting capabilities. So we have a reactor on the way, the factory as well. MarineLorD always does so well with those Reapers, and I know that just because I say that now, he's probably going to lose it, but it did do very well last game with it.
Your power, your caster curse powers have weakened, Todd. Reaper does quite well there, does force a little bit of micro from Elazer. Doesn't actually get any kills just yet. Sees the 3rd base, though. Of course, this was a very early factory. I believe it was a gas first, but MarineLorD not swapping the factory in the reactor, going straight for 2 Marines and a Hellion. So it looks like he's going to swap those over after the Hellion pops out. Starport going down in the main base. Nice opening here for MarineLorD so far. Is he going to use that barracks, I wonder? Yeah, he is. But Elazer, knowing about this move, he's actually hidden on the secondary high spot all the way in the back. And seeing that barracks of Marines coming, Elazer runs to the dead space.
He wasn't born yesterday, Big. Not the first time somebody has tried this against him, and he's fully ready. And I love it. Like, he was well prepared for this. It doesn't get caught off guard.
Oh, fast double gas on the natural from MarineLorD. That's what he was wanting to mask. Hiding the fact that he is indeed going way up in the gas count. And gases going down in the natural with the fusion core. I wonder if we're going to see a double starport. Yeah. Second starport goes down. Okay, cool. So we are going to see the 2 battlecruiser rush here. I believe this is the build that Fantasy used, if I remember correctly, in GSL last week. It's just so surprising to be hit by 2 battlecruisers this early in the game. And if you want to continue the production, you can even go straight up to 4 battlecruisers. It's a very, very big amount of air attack that can get to your side of the map almost instantaneously. So Elazer's going to need to have a lot of queens, maybe a couple of spores, and hopefully some idea this is coming.
Yeah. I wonder actually if that's going to be the case, because he starts Lair now. If he tried to fly his Overlord into the main base, I feel like maybe those Marines will be able to catch it around the natural base. Right, there is enough space on the right side of the minerals to not let that go through. So, yeah, but with the timing on the Lair, could he maybe go for something like quick infestors to really try and counter this really well?
Yeah, he definitely could.
I've heard that some Zergs do this.
Yeah, we've seen fast neuroparasite rushes from Serral. Lambo said he does it sometimes as well. You really need to know this is happening, though. And so far, I mean, Elazer's got a lot of gases on the way. Yeah, but he doesn't actually have any tech down just yet, interestingly. Good work account from Elazer. Those two battle cruisers inching closer and closer to finished right now. MarineLorD, he's starting up a little bit of Hellion production, but he's actually cancelled his previous Hellions that were building. So he's prioritizing battle cruisers more than anything, and I really do think there's going to be a third and a fourth battle cruiser queuing up in a moment.
A Spire going down here from Elazer.
I mean, Corruptors can get on top of this before the 4 BCs hit, but that's a while away. Right now, there's a Spore Crawler in each base. There is a good queen count. I think Elazer has an idea that this might be happening.
Yeah. And MarineLorD for now just going to wait for a little bit.
He wants to blink them in together at the exact same time. Where's he going to go for? Where does he choose to place it? And it looks like behind the natural, good choice into the dead space. Hellions having a bit of a dance around on the map at the same time. And those battle cruisers going to launch into the back of the natural. He actually found the soft spot here. All the queens are at the third base. And he's going to dive on in there, picking off a lot of drones and overlords. A nice start to this for MarineLorD.
Hey, MarineLorD might have been able to spot the Spire there.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal, because then he can already start adjusting. Starts Yamato Cannon back at home, Stimpack as well. We've got 2 more battle cruisers on the way. Those queens doing what they can here right now.
Already about 3 or 4 queens going down, though.
And
only one Spore Crawler in the main.
He's halfway through the cooldown on tactical jump here to be able to get out of there safely.
Very nice start here. Gets a few workers, a good bunch of queens. The battle cruiser still being annoying. A third and fourth battle cruiser are on the way. Elazer is up at 75 workers, though. Trying to get a 4th base. I think MarineLorD might go in and try to cancel that. Corruptors are starting up. 5 Corruptors are out. And it's a swap into Bio after the battle cruisers. I love this. People normally, we've been seeing a lot of people just going for the Magfield Cyclones, but I actually love the swap back into the Marines. These BCs not really going to find anything more in this game. So MarineLorD is going for 4 battle cruisers, but unfortunately, he's got to keep them at home. If he teleports across the map with all 4, the Corruptors are going to do very well versus that. I mean, I guess you could Yamato 4 Corruptors, right? And then there would only be like about 5 Corruptors. You'd still have 7 Corruptors left. It's probably still enough, I think, with the Queen Transfuse to deal with the BCs.
Good scout by Elazer, by the way, to see this barracks. Like he already knows, goes for the Baneling Nest. Goes for the upgrades as well, so there's going to be a lot of Banelings on the ground. He's going to deal with any air that he has to deal with the Queens.
Oh, he just committed to it. The blink in the back of the main base does go down here. The Corruptors, the Queen count, will they be able to deal with this? They spot it in the back of the main. The drones very quickly evacuate. MarineLorD banking on this, doing some more damage, but that's a lot of Corruptors, and he's already used up his teleports. The Yamato does finish, but one of them doesn't manage to go down. 3 Corruptors falling, but there's still a good handful in there. At the same time, a Zergling counterattack on the other side of the map. A second BC falls, and it looks like not only are a few SCVs going to go down, but every single battle cruiser is going to go down. And Elazer, with the rush into the Spire, he knew exactly what MarineLorD was going for in this game. Rushing the lair, rushing the Spire, and now he's got 4 bases, 70 drones, Corruptors in the air, Lingbane on the ground, double Evo chamber upgrades. He's got his creep spread finally starting to work out there. Elazer is large and in charge in this game.
Yeah, it just feels like he's a few steps ahead of MarineLorD. He knows what's going to come every single time, gets ready for it perfectly, and sure enough, it comes and he's ready. Double armory going down.
And he's still building battle cruisers 2 at a time. This is Biotank battle cruiser? Oh my
everything.
Lord.
This is everything.
You know, he wants to catch Elazer in a spot where he commits too much to the ground or too much to the air, and the other part of his army kind of overwhelms. It's so hard to judge exactly what you want to do, and you can just get value with the Yamato cannon like that. Comes in, takes out a few queens, and of course, this time he saved the teleport. So as soon as those Corruptors arrive, teleports home, can repair those up, and he can just rinse and repeat that over the course of this game. This is a very cool style by MarineLorD, but you know what they say about cool styles, Todd? Usually they're cutting some corners. There won't be as many Marines and tanks as normal, and I do fear for MarineLorD's ability to survive a big, gigantic swell of Lingbane just flooding over his third base.
And this is Insanity. Look at the production tab. He's getting upgrades for both bio and for his mechanical units at this point. This feels like MarineLorD is just going to do like light harassment all over the place with whatever he can, mostly the battle cruisers by going there and then using tactical jump to get out, while he tries to kind of split the map. Except Elazer will be on 5 bases momentarily here. He's already got the 5th hatchery on location. All he has to do is take all of those gases. And a Zerg on 10 gases this early is going to be extremely scary for him to have to fight all the time. Like the Hive is pretty early as well.
You know, with no Yamato, no Neural Parasite, it is hard for Elazer to actually shut down these battle cruisers. So they are going to keep getting little bits of value, and this kind of gives MarineLorD a head start into the late game efficiency game. Once again, 4 Corruptors say goodbye, and he can just teleport those home one at a time. Trying to, of course, use this pullback micro, focus firing on the Corruptors, but the transfuse is good. And he's going to get one not even going to get one Corruptor for his trouble. He wants it. He can't quite get it. Great micro from Elazer. He's going to have to settle for a single queen kill.
Very nicely done here by Elazer, trading as well as he could. All alike for MarineLorD, escaping with all of those low hit point battle cruisers, which he's now going to repair. And he's now set up on 4 bases. Elazer already starting to work on his 6th base. He's going to get so much gas income.
Yeah, a lot of Marines out on the map. Lots of BCs building up. We haven't seen too much Ghost late game lately from really any Terran in this tournament. When they get to this stage, we haven't seen the nukes. You know, we haven't seen that little period that we saw from Maru and Innovation a few months ago where they were just spamming nukes all over the place. But we are seeing more and more of these battle cruisers. And with 2-2 finishing, +2 ship weapons is on the way. We'll see the plating for that in the near future. More barracks are coming down. This is a big push on the south side, but there's an insane amount of Lingbane. I think this is overstepping his territory. He's deep on creep right now, Todd.
Yeah. Trying to clean some of that out here.
No medevacs.
Elazer a little bit hesitant to engage, but I feel like if MarineLorD gets even just slightly closer here, he's gonna go for it in a second. Even though he has a lot of upgrades on the way, he's morphing more Banelings. Looking to try and go for a big counter attack here with Zerglings.
Ooh, those SCVs trying to go home. They were, of course, on repair duty. Battlecruiser is going to come out and clean this up, but only slowly. So many SCVs in the open.
The Vipers.
Every time these Marines stim, they cannot be healed, and that is an insane Baneling count rolling over that bio. The Lingbane just crushes through that army. The battlecruisers trying to just blink home, but back at home, 15 workers have already gone down. MarineLorD not finding what he wanted with that engagement. Elazer just rolling over this army, and he's not being phased at all. A crazy build from MarineLorD, and Elazer seems to just not even care.
Yeah, Elazer's just going to try and swarm here from there. Production tab, 7 Corruptors, 4 Ultra. He's got a lot of links as well. He's across the map right now here, trying to trade with whatever he can. Going to be forced back for now because he lost his entire ground army that was there. And if we look at the map, there's so much Zerg everywhere. And 23 SCVs dying in total here. This is pretty bad news for MarineLorD, who's, again, you know, is going to be expanding a little bit slower here. Right now trying to work on the 5th base. Yeah, that's going to be a no-no.
Yeah, the Corruptor's going to come in and put an end to that very fast. And Ling's going to hit the 3rd at the same time. I think MarineLorD's out of steam in this game. Tried a creative build, didn't quite get the early momentum that he wanted. I think this all comes back to the fact that Elazer, upon seeing the low ground Warlord, seemed to know exactly what he was up against. Rush to the Queen count, rush to the Spire, and takes a very nice 2-0 advantage. Elazer just didn't look phased at all. I think the moment he saw the Overlord trying to be denied, he knew something weird was coming, rushed the Spire, and from there, I mean, ever since the first battlecruisers didn't do a lot of drone losses, I think it was like 3 or 4 drones and a couple of queens, the next round of battlecruiser Blinken did almost nothing. And that was really where things went terribly. Losing 4 battlecruisers at that point, like, that is such a huge investment. That's like 2,000 minerals. It's a huge amount of gas. And I think from there, MarineLorD was always going to struggle. I would love to see that build order and how it plays out against a Zerg who's not quite as prepared.
Yeah, Elazer is making it look like MarineLorD is like the most predictable human being right now. He knows everything that's coming in details, gets perfectly ready, and if you don't take any damage from the first few waves of whatever Terran's throwing at you, you're going to be in a pretty good position to just build up your drone count, go up to 5 bases, and from there do really well. And that's exactly what happened here for Elazer.
Oh yeah. Next map is going to be King's Cove here, continuing this series. Elazer, of course, would love to close this out with the 3-0. It is the final elimination bracket here. This is our first match that we are broadcasting on the mainstream of the round of 16. And the winner of this will be going through to that top 8 to be played out tomorrow. An exciting opportunity for Elazer, getting back into the top 8 and moving onwards. MarineLorD, this would be huge if you could take him down, but he's going to have to win 3 in a row, and that is a big ask. That's always going to be a tough one to string together. All right, here we go. Next map is counting down. We are diving on into it. It's a huge map, so I'm expecting some interesting strategies coming out. Can the Terran player surprise the Zerg? So far in this series, it's been the Zerg all over everything coming his way. Let's see if he can mix it up. Guys, up in the top left here, representing O Gaming, the blue meme lord himself. In the blue, the Terran player, it's MarineLorD. And down here in the bottom right-hand side, in the red, the Zerg player. He's looking omnipotent in this series so far. Can he keep it up? Get the 3-0. It's Elazer.
Elazer has read perfectly everything that was headed his way so far, so maybe MarineLorD needs to mix in something completely different. But then again, like Elazer is just so solid, it's going to be really hard to take him out, I feel, right now for any Terran. Looked convincing against Elazer, not up 2-0 against MarineLorD. What does it take to beat this guy in this matchup?
It's really tough because it's such a tempo and momentum-focused matchup, and Elazer is just so good at studying his opponents. I think we really saw it in that last game where it felt like without really knowing what was coming, Elazer knew what was coming. He just is able to make these reads off of very limited information, and once he figures out what his opponent's aiming for, Elazer's very happy just droning up what would otherwise be greedy, you know? He doesn't really have the scouting to know he's safe, but he makes these hard reads off little bits of scouting information, off the replays and videos he studied of his opponent's play. And that's part of why Elazer's running away with this series and why he's just looking so threatening right now. So as a Terran player in MarineLorD's shoes, it's so hard to rally yourself here mentally because it feels like no matter what you do, it's just not working the way it's meant to. So he's just got to show some real poise, some of that great ability to just stay calm under pressure. And I think there's nothing wrong with the builds he's doing. Maybe doing a little bit better job of hiding them is good, but he's just got to keep it together, bring out another one of his best strategies, and see what he can do.
Some of these players are really good at, with just minimal amount of informations, to just kind of piece everything together and realize everything that's happening. I remember when Elazer faced Dark at BlizzCon and lost the series in a very one-sided way. I remember asking about the games, and I was like, how did Dark know what you were doing? And then Elazer was like, he really praised Dark on that. He was like, he just scouted this for just 1 second. My expo saw the saturation and knew exactly what was going to come. He saw like one single timing on the extractor and again, knew everything that was going to come. So I feel like maybe he's worked on that himself quite a bit, and so far it's really paying off here for him because he's making great reads, as you said.
Yeah, Elazer, a very intelligent player, does like to study his opponents. Doesn't like to just sit back and play against the race. He likes to play his opponent. He has gone for the frontal third base on this map to try and get his creep out. MarineLorD on the other side once again going for the tech opening with the Hellions. And of course the creep spread getting right out through the center of the map is a big part of why you'd like that third base as Elazer. Hellions starting to roam across the map as well. I'm very, I've really got my eyes on MarineLorD's production tab because so far Elazer's been playing relatively standard reactive play. Looks like Hellion Banshee. I mean, it was a great opening and he did some good damage in game one. You can see he's been focused on those early 4 Hellions getting out really fast. does let a Zergling in. That's unfortunate.
And he might be adjusting to what we saw in game 1, where he went for a Viking, but there was no Overlords to kill. So this time he's like, well, I'll skip that Viking then. I'll just go straight into that first Banshee. You don't want to send Overlords to my side of the map, which, funny enough, there is one single Overlord kind of taking position here around the top side of the map from Elazer, which looks like it might be for kind of like a late scout, maybe inside of that main base later on.
A very conservative Overlord, though, isn't it? You know, Elazer playing very careful around the Viking commitment. So I do love that adjustment from MarineLorD. A few more Zerglings being forced out here. The Hellions and the Reapers really just threatening. A great counterattack here from Elazer. And that Hellion getting surrounded, taking so much damage. Very unfortunate. Luckily for him, the Banshee is there. But that's a fresh Mule on red hit points. Oh, good micro there from MarineLorD. Keeps the Mule alive.
Wow.
Very nice. That's a couple hundred extra minerals that's going to be able to mine now. Well microed there.
Elazer's setting up a follow-up run by here. He knows that MarineLorD most likely will be moving out right now.
Yeah, this is a huge commitment.
And he's going for a Nidus.
Oh, the Wall-Off's there, but that does not have enough hit points. Command Center gets cancelled at the last second, and the Lings are in the base. Once again, Elazer.
He's keeping MarineLorD busy right now. MarineLorD's not even thinking about the possibility of something like a Nidus. Elazer is up 2-0. He says, you know what? It's time for me to go for the all-out aggression. You wanted to be the aggressive one. I reacted to you this time. You're going to be the one that needs to react to me.
I think the Hellions
about to complete. He's got so many queens.
No Spore Crawler there. The Hellions, though, they might get surrounded. Oh, I think MarineLorD might have made a good read. Yeah, he sees the Nidus Worm. He's caught the Zerglings as well. Oh, a couple of them wrapping around, though, and the depot's lowered. That is a disaster. MarineLorD had the information, but it was not able to get back in position in time. His Hellion's the most important part of this defense. And just like that, Elazer